the young and the restless spoilers. Welcome back to the channel, besties. Today is Thursday, a beautiful day outside, but internally, I am a raging dumpster fire of emotions. Grab your iced coffees and strap in, because the tea I am about to spill is so scalding, it will literally melt your face off. Let's get into the madness. You guys, I am deceased. Stop what you are doing right now. I am literally shaking. Wait, we need to talk about this now, because my soul has actually left my body and is currently hovering somewhere over Genoa City in a state of absolute, unadulterated panic. I am physically vibrating from the sheer audacity of what we just witnessed on our screens. I'm literally filming this while I'm running errands, pacing around the aisles of Target like an absolute maniac, because I just had to jump on here and vent. Besties, I am not okay. I am genuinely, straight up, unwell. Nick Newman has officially crossed the point of no return, and I am personally offended, emotionally victimized, and totally living for the cinematic mayhem of it all. Send help. My brain is buffering from the chaos. Wait, backtrack for a second. I missed a step. Let's just rewind to how we even got to this absolute nightmare scenario, because I feel like I am hallucinating. Nick Newman, the former Golden Boy, the man who was supposed to be getting his life together, literally walked out of rehab against medical advice and went straight into a dingy, crusty room at the Park Motel. And don't even get me started on the vibes of this motel. I swear to God, I was watching this and got entirely distracted by this one flickering neon light outside their window. It was giving major slasher movie aesthetic. Like, who was the set designer for this? Give them an Emmy, but also, ew. The aesthetic of rock bottom is not cute, honey. Anyway, back to the main event. Nick is in this sketchy room, and he is hanging out with Marie Kirkland. Marie, who is officially on my do not perceive list, because, bestie, be for real right now, you are enabling a Newman in a downward spiral. So, Nick and Marie are in this room, and things go from 0 to 100 in literally 2 seconds. I was mid-skincare when this scene started, and I genuinely smeared charcoal mask all over my expensive white rug because I gasped so hard. They start undressing, and it is just raw, chaotic, drug-fueled passion. It is absolute cinematic mayhem. Nick is on top of her, she is moaning, and the whole scene is shot like this high-octane psychological masterpiece where you can literally feel the desperation in the air. It's messy, it's unfiltered, and it's straight-up tragic. They are having this incredibly intense, passionate sex, but it's not romantic, you guys. It's the sound of two people trying to outrun their own demons by crashing into each other at top speed. I was hyperventilating. I literally had to yeet my phone across the room because the second-hand anxiety was eating me alive. Did I say that yet? My brain is mush. Moving on this hookup is so dark. It's not a love scene. It's a collision of two broken souls who have completely given up on themselves. They are going at it so intensely, fueled by whatever toxic substances they just ingested, and you can just feel the heavy, suffocating weight of their choices. It's giving major, I cannot even energy, and I am clutching my chest because the stakes are astronomical right now. If anyone from his family walked in, if Victor or Nikki saw this, they would actually spontaneously combust. Okay, hold on. I should have mentioned this earlier, but the lighting in this room was so dim, it basically felt like the underworld, which is fitting because Nick is practically in hell right now. After the deed is done, the post-nut clarity hits Nick like a freight train. He gets up, and you can see the immediate shift in his body language. The high is fading, the adrenaline is crashing, and reality is seeping back into the room like toxic sludge. He walks over to the sink, turns on the faucet, and splashes cold water on his face. He looks at himself in that grimy, water-spotted mirror, and you can just see the absolute disgust and horror in his eyes. He is looking at a stranger. He is looking at a man who just threw away his sobriety, his family's trust, and his own dignity for a cheap, drug-induced escape in a motel that probably charges by the hour. The acting in this moment, Joshua Morrow deserves all the awards because the self-loathing radiating off the screen was palpable. I was genuinely tearing up just watching him realize how far he has fallen. Nick decides he needs to bolt. He is basically in full fight or flight mode, and flight is winning by a landslide. He starts writing this pathetic little note to Marie, probably something like, "Sorry, gotta go, don't call me," because he is fundamentally a coward when he's backed into a corner and doesn't know how to deal with his own mess. He's scribbling on this cheap motel notepad trying to figure out how to just erase the last few hours of his life. But then, in this agonizingly slow cinematic moment, he turns to look at her. He walks back over to the bed, probably intending to just leave the note on the nightstand and sneak out like a thief in the night. He reaches out and gently touches her face. And besties, she is ice cold. She is not moving. Her chest is not rising. Nick realizes in real time that Marie is not breathing. I screamed. I literally screamed into my pillow so loud, my dog started barking, and my neighbors probably thought I was being attacked. The chaos, the absolute, unadulterated mayhem that erupts in this room is beyond human comprehension. Nick realizes he might have just killed a woman, or at least, she is dying right in front of him from whatever lethal cocktail of drugs they just ingested. He goes into full panic mode. He starts doing CPR. He's doing chest compressions, pushing down on her sternum, sweating, crying, begging her to wake up. Come on, Marie, come on. He is yelling, and the sheer terror in his voice is haunting. The stakes are astronomically high right now. If she dies, Nick is looking at manslaughter, drug charges, the complete destruction of the Newman Empire's reputation. Not that Victor cares about anyone but himself, but still, Nick is pumping her chest, breathing into her mouth, and the whole time I am pacing the floor, genuinely convinced that they are going to kill off this brand new character in her very first week. My heart was beating so fast, my smartwatch gave me an abnormal heart rate warning. I am not making this up. And then, she gasps. Marie Kirkland's eyes fly open, and she takes this ragged, horrifying, desperate breath. She is alive. Nick collapses back, panting, looking like he just ran a marathon through a literal minefield. He tells her, his voice shaking uncontrollably, that he is calling an ambulance. He is trying to be the hero, trying to do the right thing after doing literally everything wrong. He thinks he just saved her life, and that they are going to get help. But guys, this is where the plot twists so hard it gave me a concussion. You'd think she'd be grateful, right? You'd think she'd be crying, thanking him for pulling her back from the brink of death. Nope. Marie snaps. She goes absolutely feral. She swats the phone right out of Nick's hand. It goes flying across the room and smashes against the cheap motel carpet. She looks at him with this dead, hollow, terrifying expression and screams, "I want to die! I am deceased. I am literally on the floor." My jaw unhinged and fell straight to the center of the earth. She tells him to leave her alone. She reveals that her life is so profoundly unhappy, so completely devoid of joy, that she intentionally took enough drugs to stop her heart. She wanted this. She wanted to fade away in this gross motel room. Nick didn't save her. He ruined her suicide attempt. The psychological gravity of this moment is so heavy I can barely breathe just talking about it. And if that wasn't enough, she starts reaching for the drugs again. She is straight up, continuing to use right in front of him, chasing that lethal high because she genuinely, truly wants to end it all. She is shoving more drugs into her system while Nick is sitting there, utterly paralyzed by the horror of what he is witnessing. Nick is trying to reason with her, trying to give her this whole life is worth living speech, which is honestly so unhinged coming from a guy who just abandoned his rehab program to get high with a stranger. Bestie, be for real right now. You are in no position to be a life coach. But Marie isn't hearing it. She is completely checked out of reality. She tells him that they are going to call her husband. Wait, husband? Yes. She drops the husband bomb. This woman is married. She's miserable. She's a severe addict. And she wants out of this world so badly that she is willing to overdose in front of a complete stranger. The layers of trauma here are just too much for my fragile little mind to process. I am spiraling. We are all spiraling. Nick is watching her spiral, watching her actively try to kill herself again, and his brain just breaks. You can see the exact moment his sanity snaps like a dry twig. He realizes he is completely out of his depth. He is not a savior. He is an addict, trapped in a room with another addict who is determined to die. The trauma of losing Cassie, the trauma of everything Matt Clark has put him through, the guilt of failing his family, it all comes crashing down on him in this tiny, suffocating room. He is literally watching a reflection of his own darkest desires playing out in front of him, and it is destroying him. Despite her screaming at him to leave her alone, Nick manages to scramble across the floor and grab the phone. He ignores her protests and dials 911. He is frantic, his voice is cracking, he is begging the dispatcher to send paramedics to the Park Motel immediately. Marie is furious, cursing at him, completely unhinged, telling him he ruined everything. The sirens start wailing in the distance. getting closer and closer, and the tension is so thick you could cut it with a chainsaw. The paramedics burst into the room, and it is just a blur of medical equipment, shouting, and chaos. They load a thrashing, furious Marie onto a stretcher and wheel her out, leaving Nick standing alone in the middle of this trashed motel room. He is surrounded by the remnants of their drug binge, the unmade bed, and the lingering smell of absolute, catastrophic failure. The silence in that room after the paramedics leave is deafening. Nick is standing there, physically shaking. I was shaking with him. He looks at the door, he looks at the drugs still scattered on the table, and he realizes that he is completely, utterly alone. He has alienated his parents, he has disappointed his children, and he just watched a woman try to die in his arms. He has hit a rock bottom that has a basement, and he is currently locked in it. Wait, I'm glitching. Okay, back to the main event. What does a broken, terrified, drug-addicted Nick Newman do when he realizes he is seconds away from literally dying himself? Because let's be real, he knows if he stays in that room he is going to finish off those drugs and join Marie in the ICU, or worse, the morgue. He grabs his phone again. His hands are trembling so violently he can barely hit the contacts icon. He doesn't call Victor, who would just yell at him. He doesn't call Nikki, who would probably have a heart attack. He doesn't call Adam, because their relationship is way too complicated right now. He calls the one person whose soul is eternally tethered to his. He calls Sharon. I literally gasped so loud my neighbors probably heard me. The Schick history runs so deep, and in his darkest, most terrifying moment, she is the only beacon of light he can even fathom reaching out to. The phone rings, and when Sharon picks up, Nick just breaks. He doesn't try to play it cool. He doesn't try to hide his shame. He just sobs. He tells her, Sharon, I am in a critical state. I need you to come get me. And then, he drops the most devastating, soul-crushing line of the entire decade. Come save me, or I will die. Chills. I have literal chills covering my entire body right now. My arms are covered in goosebumps. He knows that if he is left alone with those drugs, and his own demonic thoughts, he will not survive the night. He is explicitly, desperately begging for his life. Now, we have to talk about Sharon. Will she come? Besties, this is the ultimate question. Sharon has been through hell and back. She is currently dealing with Noah's trauma, Mariah's legal nightmare with Devon, and her own PTSD from being held hostage by Martin Laurent in the past. She is stretched so thin she is practically translucent. But this is Nick. This is the father of her children, her first love, the man she has saved and who has saved her 1,000,000 times over. Can she really ignore a call where he explicitly says he is going to die? I'm calling it right now, manifesting a total dumpster fire by the next update. Sharon is going to drop everything and race to that motel like an absolute bat out of hell. But what is she going to find? Is she going to find Nick alive? Is she going to get there too late? Or worse, is Matt Clark going to intercept this somehow? We know Matt is lurking around, manipulating everyone in his path, acting like a literal sleep paralysis demon. What if Matt follows Sharon to the motel? What if this entire thing turns into a hostage situation? My brain is spinning out of control with theories, and I am genuinely terrified for everyone involved. The villain arc is about to go nuclear. I cannot even process the emotional damage this episode has inflicted on me. I am going to need 3 to 5 business days to recover from Nick performing CPR in a motel room and Marie swatting away a 911 call because she wants to die. They are officially the most toxic, tragic duo of the year, and I am so invested it is actually ruining my life. I need a nap, I need a glass of wine, and I need the next episode immediately. Let me know in the comments if you are as unwell as I am, because I cannot be alone in this spiral. Until next time, stay safe, make good choices, and for the love of God, stay away from the Park Motel.